Hey, so today I've got a big brake kit to put on my S14. So it's probably maybe a bit of a different kit that you might sort of come across. So this is from Manon racing products in New Zealand. So they do big brake kits for Skyline, Silvia's, a few other cars. So this kit's really cool. So what you can get from them is you can get a 4-piston big brake kit, or you can get a 6-piston big brake kit, and you can option bits and pieces on it. So the one I've got is the 6-piston. So you can also do like an upgraded type of these as well. I think these ones are the super lights. So that's a Wilwood super light 6-piston caliper, which is pretty cool. And then with this one, I've got the so this uses a 355mm Nissan 370Z rotor. You can do the same thing. You get a 326mm one as well, which you can also use the, I think, the 6-piston kit, which will use the Skyline discs. I've just gone a bit larger because I've got the space under the wheels. So this kit came with the 2 rotors, which are upgraded. You can get a plain disc. You can get a just a slotted one, or I got the slotted dimpled one. You can also get a two-piece one as well. So I just upgraded those. I've just got the standard pads, which are just the BP20s. You can upgrade those too. They have 2 other options for better pads. I think one was a Hawk, and then there was a different one as well. Anyway, this kit was only $21.80 Australian dollars delivered, which was pretty cool. It came super quick. The shipping was like 5 days. Took them about another week to get the bits and pieces together. So it's just a good kit. So for me, it's just an option compared to, say for example, like a D2 kit, which I'm sure are fine. A friend of mine has done the kits from HFM Parts, just to use the larger rotor, which seem great. They have a great 2-piece alloy hat rotor, which is great. There's just the standard calipers, but I thought I'd just sort of change it. So anyway, they're really, really beefy. They're a really, really good size. I like the colour as well. I think you get a lot for you, a little bit over $2,000. So in the kit, obviously, you get the calipers, the rotors, the pads, the brackets, all the mounting hardware, and some braided lines, and of course some stickers. So it's pretty cool. So I'll put a picture in of just the size difference between the standard 280mm rotor and the 355, 356, 370 rotor, which is a massive difference. I'll throw a picture in as well, just the difference of obviously the size on the car before and after. So yeah, I'm going to put it together. Alright, so here's the parts for each side. So obviously there's the bracket that goes straight onto the hub, and then these 2 join to each other, and that obviously joins to the caliper. So all of the bolts, so there is the M1240s, which are going to go through the hub onto this bracket. And then it has on the instructions, there's a little, it says alloy washer, but it's a spacer. It's these smaller spacers, which just goes between the hub face and this first bracket. So that's what those are. And then we've got these smaller bolts, which will join from this to this. And then there's also a spacer later as well. So the spacer, the second lot of spacers, is just here, and that's where it joins the caliper to the top part of this one. But I'll film that as well, so it's all nice and easy. And obviously there's 2 of everything. So this is for one side, that's one set of for the hub, and then to the 2 brackets together, and that's the spacer, and that's just another set. And then those are the bolts which join the caliper to the brackets. So let's pop it on. So I've just removed the factory caliper and factory rotor, and just cleaned up the surface of the hub, just so it doesn't get any sort of run out. I've also trimmed the dust shield as well, just so that it clears the new rotor. I've also done a terrible job of painting it. Taking the old caliper off and rotor off is pretty self-explanatory, so there's no point filming that. Alright, so these are the M40 bolts. I'm going to put a bit of Loctite on each of these. Just doesn't say so in instructions, but I'm going to be safe than sorry. Alright, so I've got the first bracket. So the first bracket's going to go on here, and there's obviously a space to go between them. So put the bolt through, spacer, there's the bolt and the spacer, and then the bracket. Same thing for the other side. There's the spacer. Just put that on there. Alright, so look at the second bracket, the radial bracket, and it says on this one the 355, so it's just going to go on there. So I can do the same thing. So these bolts are the M1230s. Same deal, just to be safe with the shorter bolts. I'm just going to chuck some thread locker on them. So just thrown on the rotor, just gave it a quick clean with brake clean. So the calipers, they have a rotational mark on them, so the little arrow there, as we can see, that's just the rotation of the wheels, so as we know the left and the right. So they have, the hardware for these is the two large black Allen bolts and the spacers. So spacers just go on top of the last bracket between the caliper. So they just go on here. I'm not using any thread locker on these, just because obviously they're a serviceable part on and off for the pads. So there's a little indentation just in here. We can see that that little washer fits in nicely. So it'll go on there. It'll go on less nicely, so I'm going to drop it on the ground. So we'll try again. Cool, and so you can see there as well that the rotor sits really nicely in the middle of the caliper and spins really freely. So I'm just going to attach the brake line to the caliper. The thing I will say about the Wilwood kit is the pads are, like, they're just, honestly, they are so thick, they are massive. They've got to be at least 10mm thick, they are massive pads. And it looks like they are super easy to go in. They literally just drop in there. Would make changing pads anywhere just the easiest thing in the world to do. They just slot in and the bar goes over. Bolt through, that is unbelievable. Yeah, they're in, that's crazy. Alright, so the Wilwoods are on and they will fit, bled and bedded in. They're really good. The pedal feels great. It's really hard to tell on the street, obviously, how well they sort of hold up to any sort of extremes, but they're really, really good. I didn't mention before that the 355mm kit, this one, they recommend obviously 18-inch wheels or above. You can get away with 17s on the 324mm kit. The wheels I had in there previously, which were a rotor, would have never possibly sort of fitted, but these I've got a work motion Guamis. And these are a 18 by 9.5 on the front with a plus 18 offset, and they clear it fine. So they clear it obviously the forward face fine, and then there's about 20mm from the top of the rotor, so they clear really, really well. So obviously not a great install video, but I think the reason I wanted to just sort of make this one quickly was because I didn't know this kit sort of existed from Manon Racing, so it's just a really, really great kit. It's a great way to get really big brakes, high quality, for not a massive price. And obviously the rotor is really easy to hold of because it's just a stand innocent part. The pads are really easy to hold of, they're a very generic sort of size pad. Obviously they'll go a lot better than the factory brakes, which were honestly just tiny. And also, they're so easy to change the pads, like they just clip in and out of, you know, even compared to Brembos or anything else, I've never seen something so easy to sort of go on there. So that's it. Wilwood kit from Manon Racing. Really, really happy. I'll see how it goes at the track.